Glad you brought a few staff people with you. And we look forward to your presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, please give him your attention. Mr. Doorkeeper, if you get that door closed, we'd appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, members of the committee, members of the General Assembly, and guests. My name is Clyde Reese. I am Commissioner of the Department of Human Services, and we appreciate the opportunity to be here this morning to present the Governor's proposed fiscal year 13 amended and fiscal year 14 budgets for the Department of Human Services. We thought we'd do this a little differently this year. The last couple of years, we've come and gone line by line, program by program through the budget. This year, we thought we'd try to just talk about the budget in summary form, give you the changes, the reductions that we made and the reasons for it, and to just paint a picture of the Department of Human Services, what we do, what our challenges are, and how that fits in with our budget, and how we try to align our budget with the Governor's strategic plan. Let me start by saying very quickly our vision, mission, and core values. We are about stronger families for a stronger Georgia. We want to strengthen Georgia by providing individuals and families access to services that promote self-sufficiency, independence, and protect Georgia's vulnerable children and adults. Everything we do is geared around that foundation. Let me go into our current resources and initiatives. We see here on the pie chart slide that we have for base budget for fiscal year 13, a little over $1.3 billion budget. About 63% of that is federal, around $853 million. About state is 34%, or $458 million. We have a small amount of tobacco funds and a small amount of other that are outlined there, and I can answer any questions about those if you have any. The uses of our funds primarily are for the Division of Family and Children's Services, about 75%. Our department administration or support is around 7%. Our child support division uses about 7% of the funds, residential child care, which is child care licensing, about 1%, and our aging services, 10%. Some of our initiatives that we are undertaking now in the present year and in the year to come revolve around safety. As many of you know, in Fulton and DeKalb counties, we are under a court-ordered consent decree for child welfare. So we want to perform well with regard to that consent decree and the outcomes outlined in it so that we can be released from that consent decree. And we'll talk a little more about that as we go through some specific case numbers. We also, when I came to the department, I began to talk and put an emphasis on safety for children and let that be the first thing we look at. As a result of that, we have been moving toward a new child safety model that we call differential response, which is a part of that, which just essentially means that we have more of an ability to track situations after we have initially looked at them to determine whether or not we need to take some action in the future. We also want to increase our number of problem-solving courts. Problem-solving courts are an alternative court within the child support arena. This allows judges to work with non-custodial parents to help them find employment and education to help them be able to pay child support rather than being incarcerated, where obviously they cannot do so. Within our aging division, we are working on transitioning individuals from nursing homes into the community with a purpose of helping elderly Americans and Georgians live in the community safely. And we have a contract with the Department of Community Health to use part of a grant money called Money Follows the Person to move money with a person from an institution into the community. We also want to be a more efficient department. We want to have better infrastructure. We want to have a better eligibility system, and I'll talk more about that later. We want to have technology to help us leverage budget reductions and staff reductions. And we want to be supportive at an enterprise level across the department of those programs, be it DFACS, child support, or aging. Can we give them the technology, the financial support, legal support, et cetera, to do what they do? I wanted to tie very briefly back our budget to strategic plan measures. Some of our major goals are, one, we want to increase the Money Follows the Person transitions from nursing facilities to the community from 125 to 375 over a 3-year period. We want to achieve substantial compliance with the Kenny A. consent decree by improving our outcome attainment from 61 to 88% by December of 2014. We want to replace our success system, which is our eligibility system for our DFACS workers in all 159 counties around the state. We want to work with community health and public health, which we have been doing on our procurement, to have a new eligibility system that is state-of-the-art and that is funded by primarily by Medicaid federal dollars. I'm sure Commissioner Cook will talk some about that after me. We want to increase our citizen self-service capabilities to allow technology to allow people to apply for our benefits and services online, prevent them from having to use so much paper and from also having to actually appear at a DFACS office. And as I said, we want to increase the number of problem-solving courts to the ultimate goal of making certain that more money can get to custodial parents to help children. We currently have 6 active, and we want to go to 24 by 2016, and we've made good progress in that regard. Let's go over to our current and prior year funding. This chart just shows you a progression of where we were with funding in 2009. We were about $1.2 billion of federal and $629 million of state funds. Now you see in 13, we're at 884 and 455. This just gives you a flavor and an idea of the effect of reductions on the department in the past 5 years. A lot of our budget is based on demand for services and caseload growth. The way in which we approach the budget reductions and the way in which we approached our programs is based on trying to keep up with the demand for our services. If we look first with regard to Division of Aging and Adult Protective Services, you'll see that we have a little over around 13,000 cases with a little under 230 workers to address those. For the Division of Family and Children Services for child welfare, we're around 1,700, 1,800 employees, and you see the cases there. So we really have a pinch, really have tried to not overload our caseworkers with individual cases, but it's a very difficult challenge to manage. The next slide shows you more particularly our average caseload sizes, and this is where I want to talk just a little more about Kenny A. You'll see the Region 14, R14, the purple line stands for Fulton and DeKalb counties, and the reason the caseloads are low in that region is because we are mandated to have certain caseload sizes by that court-ordered consent decree. That necessarily skews the rest of the state. We have to put an inordinate amount of resources in those 2 counties, and therefore you'll see for the red line, non-Region 14, which is the rest of the state of Georgia, we're at a high level, over 17 cases per worker. And then the blue line, which is combined, we're around 16. So it's very important to me that we perform well in Fulton and DeKalb, comply with the consent decree, achieve what we can call substantial compliance, and exit that decree so that we can begin to maximize our resources across the entire state. DFACS does eligibility for Medicaid, for the SNAP program or food stamps, for TANF, temporary assistance for needy families, and for child care subsidy in every DFACS office throughout the state. So we have an integrated eligibility system here where we work with the Department of Community Health to determine eligibility for Medicaid and then for the human services benefits that we administer. So as you can see, and this is in large part a measure of the economy of the last 5 years, we've had a tremendous uptick in the number of cases. We're over 1.6 million cases or demand for eligibility services, and we've had exponential growth. Our thought and our hope is that as the economy gets better and begins to recover, that we'll have a sort of a flat lining of this number and it will not continue to rise at the level that it is, but it's been a challenge and continues to be for our workers, as evidenced by the next graph, which shows you that in 2004, we were about 379 cases per eligibility worker. Now we're up to 793. So we've had attrition in staff, attrition in budget, and also a great increase in the demand. The next chart is, shows our out-of-home care placement. Out-of-home care is services and facilities for children who've been taken out of their homes for a period of 24 hours or more and who are being served and provided services of some sort in a setting out of the home. You can see the trend there. We've had some decrease, and we're right around almost 11,000 placements, and you can see the dollars associated with that, and where we are now is around 127 million federal and 88 state. I want to talk about temporary assistance for needy families. We get a TANF block grant, which has been around almost $370 million. Last year, Congress took away what we call TANF supplemental funds, and these are funds that were designated for 17 states, mostly in the South, to account for, I believe, their increased demand for social services. And as a result of federal budget deliberations last year, that money was discontinued, so we lost $37 million. I think this is the last time we'll actually be talking about this because we baked it in to show the reduction, but now that it's no longer there, we think the TANF block grant will be at that $330 million figure you see there.